Remember them days way back then where you used to try to convince your parents of something, of like a way of thinking that is, more common to the newer generation of the people and your peers that grew up around you, and completely different from what your parents grew up around or your grandparents grew up around. And like you're trying to convince them of, this way of thinking, and they will stay so like solid on whatever beliefs and ideas they grew up with, and they won't budge no matter how you try to convince them, and they stay like stuck in their way, basically just like thinking the same thing that they always thought, and they never have any room of like they never have room for change or anything like that. They kind of just close-minded. You ever dealt with a parent like that, bro? And then it's like, have you ever like stopped to consider like what if you grew up to be exactly what you used to always dislike? And by dislike I mean like you used to always dislike how it was so hard to convince your parents of certain things. Like I remember when I used to want to get dreads when I was younger, and my mom had this belief growing up that like growing your hair out is a bad thing, like only vagabonds, I fucking fucked up that word. Vagabonds, like gangsters, bro, like it's thugs, bro, only they wore dreads and shit like that. So my mom would never want me and my siblings to get dreads. She didn't even want my sisters to get a dread. Like she didn't even get dreads herself. She just thought that dreads were just a bad thing. That's growing your hair out, period, was just a bad thing. And I don't know, we used to always try to come up with these arguments like Jesus had long hair. Like how can you say having a bunch of hair is a bad thing, but Jesus had long hair? And then we'll come up with like, bro, you can see a whole bunch of criminals on like news, on the news and shit, have buzz cuts and brush cuts, and they don't even have hair. Some of them are bald and shit. And then it's like, bro, you come up with all these arguments and they never seem to get through to her. And it wasn't until like we started just like letting our hair grow, and then she started meeting other people in her life that people that had dreads and had long hair and had lots of hair, and they turned out to be good people. It wasn't until then where her mind became more open to having us grow our hair out and things like that. It happened slowly, but it happened like it kind of just happened over time. And then it was like started realizing a lot of the people that were bald and stuff were like kind of like the most shadiest people that we met in our life, bro. I know a lot of bald motherfuckers that were shady ass motherfuckers. But it's like you see that. I mean, my mom, she was just so close-minded about things, and it took so much for her to open her mind. And like when I say you ever felt like you became the thing that you don't like, but you ever seen that in yourself? You ever came to realize that that could be you yourself? Like I feel like a lot of people our age think that we're so open-minded. I know I did. Like we think that we're so open-minded, and we fall into this belief of something. Like we just follow a certain crowd, and then we just fall into that crowd and start believing in everything that they tell us. And for me, for instance, I fell into a lot of different crowds where I just started to believe exactly what everyone else believed. And the only reason I started to fall into this kind of ideology and then fell into these beliefs was because I fell into these beliefs when I felt the most hurt, and I needed something to pull me out that dirt, pull me out that hurt, make me feel better. And one of the things I can think of that I like, one of the traps that I fell into in life was this red pill ideology thing. Like this whole thing when Kevin Samuels and Andrew Tate came around, and I fell into that. And what's so weird is that like I remember when I first heard of Kevin Samuels, and he used to just talk and shit. And I had to listen to this dude. I'm like, yo, this dude sounds kind of dumb. Like, what is he saying? Like, you know, some of the shit he would say would make sense, but then other shit he would say would be like, okay. But then over time, you know, I slowly started to fall into it because I started to end up in a bad place in my life where when it came to women and stuff. And that's when like Sneeko and Andrew Tate popped up, and then I was like watching a lot of streams, and then I just started watching Sneeko streams. And then when I started watching Sneeko streams, he like kind of, that's when Andrew Tate started popping off, and then it's just like, yeah. And it was just like, bro, this dude Sneeko was a dude that used to think like me, and then he went into this red pill thing. So I thought it was like, I just kind of fell into it, right? I fell into this whole red pill ideology, but just thinking like everything that these red pill people think. And whether it was like things that I actually believed or things I didn't believe, I kind of lied to myself to believe a lot of these things that these red pill people were saying. And it got to the point where, you know, I always thought of myself as an open-minded person, but me falling into this red pill ideology, I didn't realize that I was not being open-minded, being inside this world of just thinking like all these other weirdos out here, man. Like all these weird dudes that just, you know, also been in the same place as me, people that were also hurt, you know. So they just kind of fall deep into this whole ideology, and they fell deep, and they just try to take everybody with them into this deep like way of thinking. And yeah, it took me like about a couple of months before I just kind of just snapped back to reality. Like, bro, I don't want to think like this. I don't want to be like this. I don't want to do all of these things. I don't agree with these people, right? Like, I just didn't. I don't agree with these people. Like, it just, in my body and my soul, it was telling me I don't agree with these people. And then it also made me realize that, bro, my whole mind was just so close-minded on like everything that they thought. Like, I just thought this, that, this equals that, that equals this equals that. Like, oh, a girl does this, oh, she's definitely this. Oh, a girl does that, oh, she's definitely that. Like, you know, I didn't give any room for, you know, exceptions or anything like that. I just thought this is that, that is this. It was just that simple. I just believed everything these red pill people were saying. And it's like, yeah, my mind was just kind of like super closed-minded to all these things. And my whole point of bringing that up is like, you need to open your mind more. You need to stop thinking that like you know everything. That's the thing with all these people being stuck in their ways, being closed-minded. Being closed-minded is literally telling your mind, telling yourself that you know pretty much everything that there is to know about life, and that's that. Like, there's no more to learn. You feel me? It's like there's so much to learn. Once I realized that, like, bro, I don't know everything. I really don't. Like, I get hit with these obstacles in life, and I realized, like, bro, I don't know everything about, you know, women. I don't know everything about how to be a man. I don't know everything about, you know, just life in general. Just because I fall into this ideology that kind of helped me whenever, like, that kind of helped me when I was in a bad place at a time, and I just need something to cling on to, right? Like, I don't know everything. There's so much out there for me to learn. And when it comes to people, like individuals, there's so much about a person that you could learn from them. Like, just because their past was a certain way, they did a lot of stuff in their past, doesn't mean that they can't be a completely different person in the future. Like, the past doesn't tell you who you are right now. The past is just, you know, a piece of who you were back then. It just lessons, it just mistakes, it's just, you know, experiences. Like, it's just a whole bunch of lessons, like I said, bro, from the past that you bring with you to today, and that you just, you know, maneuver and mold into something that you want to become in the future. Like, everything in the past is just an experience that you had before. You go through these things, and then you realize, oh, okay, this is not me, or there's a piece of this from my past that I want to take with me, or there's a piece from this past that I don't want to take, that I want to leave in the past. Bro, The past don't create who you are. I mean, it doesn't make you who you are today in the present. The present only makes you who you are. It's only the present that can determine who you will be in the future. And when you keep your mind closed, you will fail to realize that, because you'll be stuck on the past, just dwelling on the past, just like, I can't believe I let this happen to me. Just you're like, I'm gonna do everything in my power to make sure this never happens again, and blah blah blah. And it's not like you're really just learning from the mistake. It's more so that you just kind of trying to run away from whatever you're trying to run away from that happened to you in the past. It's not like you're dealing with whatever that happened to you in the past. You're kind of just coping with it, you know. And then when you keep your mind open, it kind of just sets a whole bunch of, you know, possibilities for, you know, to get to a certain goal that you want to get to in the future. Like, to get to a goal that you want to get to in the future, there's not just one way to getting to it. There's many ways, and you don't know which way it will be that you take. You don't know which way is best for you. All you know is that you know where you want to go to. And then when you're in the present, that's where you choose which way. Like, you'll go like this, that, this, that. Like, you go in a whole bunch of different directions, but at the end of the day, you will get to where you're trying to get to if you just keep that vision in mind, keep your mind open to, you know, there's so much possibilities that can happen right now, but I will get to where I want to be. If you keep your mind closed, it's just like you're already where you want to be. You close your mind and you are where you want to be. There's nothing else to learn. There's no journey to take. You're here already, whether you like it or not. Your mind's closed, so there's nowhere else to go. So my whole thing is just like, it's like, you gotta keep your mind open. Don't fall for these traps where they just set you in and keep your mind closed, and you're just stuck with these certain ideologies, stuck with these certain, like, you know, you're stuck with a certain crowd. You don't gotta stay in one place. You can always keep moving. There's always room for change. There's always room for something new. There's no need to stay stuck. For parents, they stay stuck for years, man. They stay stuck for years. They end up in their like 50s, 60s, and it's not until then where they start to like open their mind and realize, oh, wow, so I like been going about this the wrong way my entire life, you know? Why start so late when you can start right now? And even if you're in your 50s, it's never too late, bro. It's like, at least they were able to, you know, open their mind sometime in life before they were to die. Keep your mind open.